We're back out here once again, and today we're talking about what just might be the most controversial lure in all of bass fishing. It's certainly the most regulated. What am I talking about? Well, stick around. You don't want to miss this one. That's another good fish. That's another good fish right there. Ooh, that may be bigger than the last one. That's another good fish right there, kids. And here is this video's featured comment. Congratulations! If you would like to have a chance to have your comment featured in an upcoming video, all you've got to do is leave a comment. And now, on with the video. Now, before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone who supported the channel by checking out my online store. If you haven't yet, head on over to diamondbackbaits.myshopify.com and check out our selection of handmade jigs, just like this little guy right here. This is a 1/4 ounce flipping jig in that midnight color, one of the most popular ones. They work around flooded brush, they work around vegetation, and they catch fish, whether from the bank or whether from the boat. I'm going to put a link in the description as well as in the pinned comment below. Again, thank you guys so much. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing. And if you've been around the sport of bass fishing for any length of time, you know there's always some new bit of controversy coming down the pipe on a regular basis, right? Almost daily we're hearing about things such as rule changes for MLF or BASS, or hot button topics such as forward-facing sonar. Now these things apply to our lures and presentations too. There's a presentation out there that is so heavily regulated, a lot of states don't even allow it, and it's certainly not allowed in pro fishing. I'm of course talking about the Alabama rig, the umbrella rig, the chandelier rig, the A-rig, whatever you choose to call it. Now, whatever side of the fence you land on when it comes to these, hard to deny they are a fish catching tool. And a lot of anglers view them as nothing more than cheating. And it's not hard to see why. An A-rig, well, it mimics a bait ball. And it's something that we all really want to do. When you see those bait balls out in the water, like we've been talking about here recently, those bass group those balls of bait up and they feed on them, they feast on them, they gorge on them to prepare for the upcoming winter months. And that's why an Alabama rig can be so effective in the late fall going into the winter. Now, I was out on the water yesterday, and you can see here, I had my good old trusty A-rig out. It was a regular H2O Express, something I picked up at Academy, but there are so many different brands. There's 6th Sense Divine, there is a Yumbrella rig by Yum, you have various brands. It seems like everybody makes their own version of it because they are so successful. Certain states only allow you to use 2 or 3 hooks. Some, only 1. The rest of the baits on there are just dummy baits. But here in Mississippi, there are no regulations. I can have all 5 hooks. Now, whether you view that as a cheat or not, whether you view that as controversial or not, I had it out on the water yesterday, and I had it on this guy right here. This is my heavy duty flipping stick. This is a big, beefy 400 size reel. This is a 7.6 heavy rod with a fast action tip. A-rigs are heavy. There's no doubt about it. Even if you are putting small swim bait heads on them, they are exceptionally heavy. And I was just using, saltwater baits. These are saltwater assassin. These are called sea shads in a hammer time color. But any small type of swim bait will work. You can put whatever you want to. I've also used those Crush City the Mayors. I've put Rage Swimmers on them. I've put Kitex on them. But I just had it rigged up with some Buckeye Lures 1/8 ounce swim bait heads because they're inexpensive. And the reason being is I lose A-rigs. You will probably lose an A-rig. And it's just an unfortunate side effect. They put so much wear and tear on your reel because of how heavy they are. A lot of times they'll just snap on the cast, which is what happened to me yesterday. But until then, I had an epic day on the water. I got out there, I was rigged up, got my A-rig set to go, found the place that I wanted to search, put the little boat in, and let it drift along. And within the first couple of casts, well, I was on fish. Today is all about that guy right there, the A-rig. We've got an A-rig tied on with some little 3.5 inch, 4 inch swim baits. And we're going to work that A-rig today. Nice and slow through here. Let's go right back in there. I was getting hit pretty hard, but oh, there we go. Little teeny tiny itty bitty fish going after that. Are you kidding me? I knew he was there. Wow, he got him a smorgasbord of hooks. But you know, that tells me these fish are here. Boy, he really went after that whole crowd. A little bitty 1/4 pound dink. There we go. Come on now. There we go. On the umbrella rig, it's a teeny tiny little dude. That's the smallest A-rig fish I've ever caught in my entire life. That's funny. Alright, let's see if we can't up the size just a little bit. Alright, that was the smallest Alabama rig fish I've ever caught in my life. Little 1/2 pound, 1/4 pound squeak. Almost comical. But he hit it with such gusto. And that let me know that A, those bass were in the area, and B, that they were in the mood to bite something like an Alabama rig. So the way that I fish it is I just worked it very slowly. I'm reeling it almost identically the same way that I use a spinnerbait. Had a lot of wind, had a lot of chop on the water. The wind was at my back. I was making casts out where the wind would push that bait even a little bit further into the water so I could make some longer casts. And I wasn't in very deep water. I was in about 5 to 7 foot of water and just drifting along. There was a lot of vegetation. There was a lot of hydrilla in the area. But every single time I'd come over that spot, I would reset and then drift along and then reset all the way back and then drift along. And when I came over that one hot spot, I was catching a couple of fish every single time, including this nice beauty. That's a good fish. That's a good fish. That's a big fish. Holy cow. That's a big fish. Wow. Come here, buddy. Oh, you're not done yet. You're done. Wow. I got you. The A-rig doing work. Boy, you got it all kinds of different ways there, didn't you? You got it all kinds of different ways. But, where am I at? Let's get your hooks out of you. See, buddy. Oh, you got hooked front and back. No wonder why you felt weird, but still. Let me get my pliers. We really do appreciate that. That's an amazing fish. Close to 2 pounds. And there he went. Let's go catch some more. Now that fish got gummed up in the hooks, but whenever you can bow a heavy power rod like that, you've got to think you've got a whale on it. So it felt like it was a ton. It was only about 2 pounds, you know, 1 3/4 pounds, 2 pounds in that area, but it was still a lot of fun to catch. And all day long, that's how it went. I'd cast it out there. I'd go over that spot because those bass, again, we talk about empty water, that they are packed up in areas where they can have easy access to the bait, where they can have easy access to those nutrients as those current seams come across, make it easy for the bass. And that was exactly the type of point I was fishing. And it didn't let up all day long. I caught nice fish after nice fish, and the A-rig did work all day. So is it cheating? Probably. It's certainly an easier method if you can just fool those bass into thinking, here's a bait ball, but it's actually a lure with a whole bunch of little hooks in it. Yeah, it can make things easier, and a lot of guys are opposed to using an A-rig. But for me, I think it's a great tool. I think they're exceptionally effective. And it doesn't mean that you can't switch back to other tools. You know, I went to jerk baits and spy rigs and even soft plastic jerk baits, and I was still able to catch fish in those same areas. It's a great search bait if that's what you want to use it as. You cast it out there and you can catch fish, and you can say, okay, I know that there are fish in that area. And you can use other lures in those same areas to keep catching fish. And just like we've talked about, move on down, maybe catch fish in someplace else, find another pocket, and then a couple hours later, go back to the original place that you went to and see if it's repopulated. And a lot of times it has. So regardless of how you feel about an A-rig, whether you're for it or whether you're against it, there's no denying how much of a fish catching tool it is. And I'm interested to know what you think. Do you like them? Do you think that they should be banned? Let me know. Get in the comments and let's have a discussion about that. So there you have it, the Alabama rig. The most controversial lure I can think of in bass fishing. A lot of guys feel like they should be banned outright. But no matter how you feel about them, there's no denying they are great fish catching tools. If you get a chance, I suggest you try one out. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.